Hello. Today I will be discussing how America has misappropriated American Indian music. In particular, I will be discussing Tim McGraw's song Indian Outlaw. However, before I do so, there are several terms that need to be defined in order to intelligently talk about this topic. Singing redface, racial antipathy, idealized sympathy, cultural misappropriation, cultural confusion, blackface minstrelsy, and playing Indian. Singing redface is when a musical artist that is not Native American uses a caricature of Native American culture to profit. Racial antipathy is when people see another race as some sort of enemy or opposition. A good example of this is when we see savage Indians in westerns or on TV or in movies. Idealized sympathy is when someone has a picture of what Indian is and acts sympathetic towards the plight of this idealized picture of the Indian. This is similar to the straw man argument, where you build up a straw man simply to knock him down later. Cultural misappropriation is when someone intentionally takes a part of someone's culture that is tangible, such as a headdress, or intangible, such as music, and intends to profit from it economically or to create a stereotype. Cultural confusion is when people outside of a certain culture cannot tell the difference between what is real about a culture and what is not real. Blackface minstrelsy is a type of theatrical performance where people would rub charcoal or something on their faces, maybe some sort of paint, in order to appear black, and then performed African American songs and music, often using different kind of accents so they sounded black. Many times these songs were not even authentic African American songs, they were simply meant to sound like they were. This is done in order to give the audience a safe view into the authentic African American experience without having to, Playing Indian is when someone plays the part of being Native American without actually being Native American. This is in a way similar to blackface minstrelsy. As you can see, all of these have the same foundation, which is a misunderstanding of what it means to be Native American or to be African American. And as a teacher of mine from high school once told me, racism comes from ignorance. And these things perpetuate ignorance towards what these groups of people really are like, which can cause racism to be perpetuated. Now let's take a look at the lyrics of Indian Outlaw and then the corresponding music video. In the lyrics, you can see that Tim McGraw is trying to paint the picture with words of this Indian outlaw. He's half Cherokee and half Choctaw with a Chippewa girlfriend. He has a nickname, Bear Claw, that has a native sound to it. His pawpaw is chieftain. He lives in a wigwam. It's also stated he lives in a teepee, so yeah, that's a little confusing. And he beats on his tom-tom, so he plays some sort of drum. He also smokes a pipe and asks that you pass it around. He also mentions the medicine man, whom he apparently got in trouble with, and he also has stated in the song he hunts with a bow and arrow and wears buffalo briefs. Now, the music video, it doesn't say anything very straightforward like the lyrics does, but in the music video you can see him mostly just hanging around in a bar or diner and just riding his Indian motorcycle. Now, there isn't anything inherently wrong with many of these things if taken individually. However, some of them are flat out inaccurate. Now, Bear Claw, you can pretty much be guaranteed is not a real Native American name. And also, I can't speak to all tribes, but I am a citizen of the Chickasaw Nation, and we have governors, we have elders, but we do not have a chieftain or a medicine man, so that's pretty inaccurate, at least as far as I know. And the rest of those things that are mentioned are just pretty much used to paint some sort of a picture of this noble savage type thing that we've gotten used to, and it doesn't really apply to modern Native Americans. I also took a look at what McGraw was able to accomplish before Indian Outlaw. Now, before Indian Outlaw, he was still trying to make it in the music business, and his big break came when his father was able to talk to someone who knew an executive at a record company and was able to give his son a shot. And so the reason his dad was able to do that is because he was a professional baseball player, and so he had some connection somehow with people. Well, McGraw was able to release his first album titled Tim McGraw, and it didn't do all that well, but he was able, because of the success of his father, being a professional baseball player, he was able to kind of, stay in it. And in 1994, he released Indian Outlaw, and that was really the first time that he had real success. He finally charted an album, and also all of the talk about the song, about how it sounded kind of disparaging towards Native American people, was really able to get his name out there. And like they say, there's no such thing as bad press. Like, if you're in the news, it's good for you. And so he was able to use Indian Outlaw to have success and kickstart his career, and that was done using singing redface and cultural appropriation. I think that is all. Thank you.